Okay, welcome everybody.
Hi.
Hey. As we try to do every Sunday, even when I'm not here to contribute to it, the whole purpose of this group here is to get together, learn, practice techniques about neurolinguistic programming, NLP, with a hope to, at the very least, make our own lives better, and if you're ambitious, do the same with other people in your field of influence. So that's the fun part. I'm David Barron. I've been doing hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming for nearly 20 years now, so I sort of organized the group. Dan is very gracious to have this facility for us to work in. I want to sort of give a heads up that there is a possibility, I am hoping sometime soon, that I'll be able to do a full weekend hypnosis training. And if things work out, it would be nice to be able to do it here, but we'll see what we can do. If you want to look at the website, there's no dates on it at all. It's thehypnosisseminar.com. So it would be cool if you just check it out, give me some feedback. Let's see. What do we call today's meetup?
Making self-change.
Making self-change. All right. Yeah, typically, people come to these types of events because they either want to have fun, they want to meet new people, or they want to get good information. So at least we're contributing to all three of those here. And here the good information is basically things that we can do ourselves to make some sort of improvement in our own life. I guess the best place to start with that is to consider for a moment the areas that you want to change or improve. Typically it's either going to be you have a problem and you need to not have it anymore, or you have a direction you want to go and you want to make it better, stronger. So for a moment, just set your mind to where you want to be. What things you want to improve, things you want to get rid of. And these are things that typically, we all want control of our life in some way. And we think these should be things that we should have more control over. But typically we don't, yes.
I am curious because sometimes I think, like, I know where I want to go, but I don't know what's holding me back.
Okay.
You
So-
don't know what's holding you back, that's what you said?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't come up with a list or an itemization of what I want to get rid of because
Okay.
I'm not sure what it is.
Okay, are you
So,
clear on what you
that-
want?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Let's keep a focus on that. I want to address
Okay.
that in some very specific ways, if not right away
Mhm.
during the whole
Yeah.
event here. Okay. So for a moment, I see everyone wisely brought their paper and pencil. Good. Make a note of the things that you want to change, gain control of. And these should be things that, we all think we should have some more control over. People come to me because they want to stop smoking. They know they should be able to stop smoking, you just don't have a cigarette, but they can't do it themselves. So if there's anything along those lines that you want to either improve, focus on more, or obstacles, habits, patterns that you want to get rid of, make a note of it, just so we have that in mind. And just take a moment when you've got that, let me know. All right, let's start with Dan. If you have more than time allows, then keep writing it.
Should I? Sorry, thought you turned that off.
You sent me a text?
I did.
Okay, so taking notes on presentation. Incidentally, my wife Christina, it is her birthday today.
Oh, happy
Hey,
birthday.
happy birthday.
Very gracious.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to now mute it.
Please.
Okay, there we go.
At least it didn't read the whole text. Right? Like,
No.
Nothing like, I just changed the Carcero thing in my car and it'll like read the whole thing out loud. It's kind of cool, but I never thought I was going to play. Not everybody can hear if anyone's in my car.
Okay, where was I? Oh, we're going to talk about, it's my wife's birthday. She's, what do we agree on? 30 years old?
Sure.
Okay.
Close enough.
Nice round number.
So when we met, it was a while ago, and she was like 27,
26, I think.
6. And of course, we re-met 3 or 4 years ago, and so I just figured that's when she started aging again.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And
Oh, I
so-
hear somebody knocking.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, I thought I left it ajar.
Maybe.
It might have,
Oh, welcome.
it might have,
There's
Hey,
wind
come on
up
in.
there. I
Yeah.
think it's kinda sent through.
Hi,
What's up?
Okay, real short recap. Start making a list of the things that you personally want to change or improve. And what we're going to go through. And again, to better understand that these are things that you feel you should have more control over or you want more control over. Maybe things you want to get rid of, habits, patterns, behaviors, or habits, patterns, behaviors that you want to instill in yourself. So let's go through here and share what you're comfortable with.
Mine is sleep. I would like my subconscious to work on me and let me have a good night's sleep.
Okay, and so I'll ask, typically what happens?
It used to be that I'd wake up in the middle of the night, couldn't get back to sleep. And now, lately, I think because I've been stressing, I can't even get to sleep.
Okay,
And I went to California and spent a couple of weeks trying every combination of marijuana.
Okay.
Because it's legal and my son lives there. And the kind that I finally decided probably would work, they were selling right then. And so it's my biggest, I mean, I have a lot of other things I could work on.
okay.
But that's my main thing right now. I haven't slept well for over a year.
Is it
probably
difficult
2
to
years.
get to sleep?
Yeah,
Okay, and you wake up and it's hard to get back to sleep?
and I have CPAP,
Uh-huh, okay.
and that's really hard to get sleep with that on. Sometimes I have to just take it off, but I just have sleep problems. That's
Okay.
what I really would like help with.
At the very least, I have a relevant story that I'll be able to share with you one of the things we talk about. Yes?
Just at this point, I'm just feeling very stuck in just about everything.
Okay, you have a direction you want to go,
So, yes,
and you're just not really getting momentum or getting the right foothold.
right, yeah.
There.
I just want more self-confidence.
Good. Okay, very good. What was your name again?
Leanne.
Leanne. Excellent. What do
Let's
you have?
see, I've got several, but probably procrastination.
Go ahead. Great. I like that one.
I don't know. I want more procrastination in my life,
You need
yes.
to put off doing more important things.
I mean, my life's so much easier if I didn't have to do anything. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I want to make more money.
Okay. Do you have a strategy to do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so at least we now have something set in our mind, a direction we can go. And again, with me, everything that is hypnosis-oriented, everything that is neuro-linguistic programming-oriented is directed toward an outcome. It's not just a process. So it's like fixing your car. Your car does not need therapy. It needs fixed. You don't take your car to a mechanic and he says, well, we're going to sit around and sort of gather its energies and let it begin to sort of heal itself. No, you need a transmission replaced. Well, that's what I do. Okay. So one of the things I like to do, and this can apply very well to motivation. It can apply to a lot of things, and I always introduce it when I'm working with somebody to do hypnosis. It is, I was thinking about English, the English language. There is a form of a statement in English called an imperative. It basically is an order. So when someone says stand up, sit down, shut up, pick that up, please. Even though they say please, it's actually an order, it's an imperative. Now, what English does not have, and I don't know if any other language does have, is what's called a first person imperative, where you say something to yourself to do it. Okay? Great concept. Now, I don't know how we would change the language other than saying, David, stand up and speak confidently, something like that. So I thought in terms of, well, one of the ways that we can do this is create a voice in our head that tells us what to do. Now, every one of us wants to do the right thing. And it would be nice if we had a voice in our head that just told us the right thing to do. And of course, it always said the right thing to do, so when it told us that, we just do it. It's a great concept, but we don't really put it into practice. So let's think for a moment, first of all, what it would be like if you had a voice in your head that you knew would just always tell you the right thing to do, and you wouldn't have to hesitate to do any of it. So now, this voice, it could be any kind of voice you want. It could be someone you know. It could be a voice you create. It could be a man's voice. It could be a woman's voice. It could speak to you loud and commandingly, or just soft and passionately. But think for a moment, what kind of voice, if it said, stop, pay attention. You heard this voice, you hear this voice, you would immediately stop and focus in. For me, I designed this voice that is James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader. You will do this, and I do it. And all I have to do is imagine this voice speaking to me, and I do it. But take a moment, and in your mind, create a voice, exactly the kind of voice that you would want to follow. So take a moment, engineer that in your head, and then once you have it, we'll just sort of talk about it. Okay, so just so that you know, when I ask this of people, you get an entirely wide range of responses. Sometimes it's someone that they know, love, and respect, that always had some sort of wise thing to say to them. Other times, they just engineer the voice. And, it's something that's unique to them. So, whatever you've got in your head, we're just going to describe it. By describing it, you make it more real. So, as best as you can, how would you describe the
Well,
voice?
that's my Uncle Fred when I was a kid, but I don't know how to describe his voice.
That's all you need. Okay, that's perfect. That's all you need. You can imagine your Uncle Fred saying, just let go, relax, put yourself at ease. While you're trying to go to sleep, would that respond a little bit better?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Great. Okay. What about yours?
I'm leaning toward a kind of a soft-spoken, masculine voice.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I'm not too good at starting from scratch, so I modeled mine after like Tony Robbins' voice, because I remember his voice always really annoyed me at first. So I remember it vividly, right? 'Cause it's kind of like raspy and like
Yeah.
go, like that. So like I kind of just use that and roll
All right.
that boy.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
I kind of like a deep voice, one that you can almost feel right here too. Like
Oh yeah.
sometimes when I concentrate, I can kind of lower my voice and speak that way. You can actually feel it vibrating right here.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Yeah. That's the James Earl Jones Darth Vader effect, right? Yes. Yeah.
The first voice that came to my mind when you said that was Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Do you remember this joke? I want Morgan Freeman to narrate my life or something. But he's got kind of a deep, kind of soothing, calming, yet kind of commanding voice.
Yeah.
Everyone would say, the voice,
Very wise.
it applies to
Yeah,
James
very
Earl Jones
wise.
too. It has gravitas.
Gravitas.
I love that word. It means it has weight.
Weight, yeah.
It has strength to it. Yeah. Good. Okay. Now, you have an idea of what the voice sounds like. For this moment, imagine when you would need it. Okay? You're talking about being held back, or not really able to get momentum. I'm sorry, remind me your name again.
Shelley?
Shelley, that's right. What would the voice have to tell you to take the first step? Just one step in the direction you want to go. You know where you have to go. What would you have to hear this voice say to you?
Oh, what command would it have to say?
Mhm. If it said, stop thinking, do it.
Well, let's say do it.
Yeah.
What is the first step? I don't know.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I see where we have to go. Okay. Good. How about
Yeah,
what would
just
this thing say to you?
like statements of affirmation, like you can do this, or
Right.
don't stop worrying about it, like you got it.
Yeah. Good. Good.
mm,
And Dan.
Mine's like, it would have to be something like in the morning, like get up, get out of bed, get going.
Yeah. Yeah. A little. I tend to get up comfortably early in the morning more than my wife, and so I have a voice that really annoys the heck out of her. You will rise up. You will rise up and be cheerful. It's a Southern Baptist voice.
And I'm a whiner in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I'm an evening person and he's a morning person. So when I'm up late working, he's whining at night.
Yeah.
Mine would say, and you want to do it now.
Right.
Or do it now. You want to do it now.
Okay.
That's like the procrastination. Just
Okay.
do it now.
So let's just do this mentally. Is get in a comfortable position, take a deep breath, and close your eyes. And put yourself in the situation where you would need to hear this voice. So see what you would see, hear what you would hear, feel what you would feel. And then go ahead and now bring this voice there to guide you, to tell you exactly the right thing to do, so that you do what it says, the moment passes, and you're fine. And when you've done that, just nod your head. All right, good. Go to another time where you would truly need to hear this voice. Put yourself in the moment, see what you would see, hear what you would hear, feel what you would feel. And let this voice now come forth and speak to you and tell you exactly the right thing to do, so that you do what it says. No hesitation, no doubt. It tells you the right thing to do, so you do it. And you feel fine. When you've done that, nod your head. All right, good. Now, do that. Create for yourself 4 entirely different events in which you would need this voice, and bring this voice in so it becomes now familiar to you, and you follow it, you do what it says, and you feel fine. And I will pause for about a minute or so. And if you've done 4 events within that minute, just keep doing more. So go ahead and begin. Now, it's the very same voice. Imagine it is there, always there for you. In fact, imagine it's a part of you, and either you could call upon it whenever you need it. And if you want to, you could also imagine that it's just going to speak to you exactly when you need it most. So take a moment, put that in your mind. When you've done that, feel it there. Just take a deep breath and open your eyes. Okay, very quickly, how'd you feel?
I don't know. I don't think I.
Did you respond to the voice when it spoke to you?
know.
Okay,
I think it's telling me what I could do to help, but I don't think it's gonna help. I've tried these things and
Okay.
they don't seem to help.
all right,
So I'm not feeling excited about it
all right. Okay,
yet.
okay, well, we still have more resources here we're gonna use there, okay? All right. How was it? How did it feel?
It was fine.
Okay, useful?
Usually it's like, yeah, I know, you're right, I should.
Oh, no, see, this is not the one that says you should. This is the one that speaks to you and you know it's the right thing to do, so it brings you into action,
Yeah.
okay?
Mhm.
So it's not the one you hear and you say, yeah. I say, oh.
Well, no, that's what I mean.
Okay.
There are certain things that I know. I avoid them because I don't like doing them. But if I did them, then I would be able to put more stuff out there.
Right.
And so the voice is saying, it's, you know that it's never as hard as you think it's going to be.
Uh-huh.
And you always get done sooner than you think you're going to. So just go
Okay.
ahead and get off of Facebook and do it.
Right.
And it'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Get off Facebook, do this. That's what my voice would say, yeah.
Basically.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I went to future events, so like, the things that I have planned already or things that I want to plan, and just like put the voice there, the stuff where I'd normally be like a little bit uncomfortable or not confident. And it worked. It was just like creating like, how I want to see myself up there, right? So I kind of was like putting myself there, and then like when I feel the nerves a little bit, and be like, oh, well, you can do it, you're there, and use the voice. And like,
Right.
since it wasn't an event, I didn't use it on like something that like has already happened. It's like something that is going to happen. So I
Yeah,
just was
good.
like placing it in there. And
Good.
that was good.
Linking the voice with the action and like practicing that in my mind,
Right.
because I feel like I need to connect that voice and
Okay.
visualizing the action in future events.
Okay,
So,
I'm glad you mentioned that because we're
working
gonna
on that.
do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the question is, what was the voice like, or how did it make you feel?
Yeah, how'd it make you, how'd the process work for you?
Yeah, so mine was kind of soothing,
Mhm.
kind of encouraging, and I realized that like sometimes what I do is more of the stick versus the carrot, kind of like
Right.
the voice is kind of like, come on, get up, you lazy son of a, and it's like I need to change that voice to be like more encouraging, alluring, like
Good.
you don't have to like get up and like go 100 miles an hour right straight out of bed. Just get up, let yourself
Right.
wake up, but get going.
Right. Okay.
So that's what it was like.
I'm glad you mentioned that because something happened as soon as I got together with my wife. I started to make some realizations, which is I have been in relationships in which getting me to do something was about nagging, and I would respond to it, but you never respond pleasantly to it. So it made me think, okay, what would happen if everything that I instructed someone to do was said with encouragement, reinforcement, validation, support. So instead of saying, you can do this, get up, do it, just saying, you can do it, you've got it in you. Just really overdoing the nurturing and support and encouragement. And I realized, okay, I'm going to do a little experiment in my marriage, with hope, with luck. That's how I'm going to give encouragement, as opposed to nagging. Doesn't work all the time, I totally admit that. I don't always get to do that. But do it as much as encouragingly as possible. And it made me think, what would happen if you raised a child with that form of direction? You're always going to tell your kid the best thing you think they should do. Sometimes you have to nag at them. Sometimes you have to talk about the looming terrible consequences of their actions. But what would happen if you said it with just incredible amount of support, love, validation, and encouragement? I'm thinking, boy, that would be, I wish I was raised that way. I mean, some of us were, and we still want it more. Okay? So, yeah, put as much positive support and encouragement into it as possible so that as you hear the voice talk to you, you want to follow it. All right, so now we're going to do something that you said. You want to be able to react quicker to the voice. So we're going to do a little experiment. May I use you?
Okay.
It'll be easy. It'll be
Okay.
super easy. Okay. Why don't you come up here and sit right here? How did you describe the voice?
Is a very encouraging person for my job.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So, if you heard your uncle's voice speak to you right now, he said, take a slow, deep breath. See, it was easy, wasn't it?
Sure.
Okay. And if you heard that very same voice say, take a slow, deep breath, and when you exhale, close your eyes. Good. Now, just so you get very used to following this voice, I'm going to give some very simple instructions. Only thing you have to do is imagine this voice giving it to you, and you follow the instructions. So, this voice speaks to you again, says take a slow, deep breath. Good. Now raise your right hand. Very good. The same voice says, slowly lower the right hand. Very good. Very same voice says, tap your toes 3 times.
What
Okay,
you meant?
just so
Oh,
you
you
know,
meant
you
like
did it
this.
That's what I meant.
I have been doing tapping,
Oh, I see.
and that's
see.
what came.
Of course. Good instruction on my part. What I say is not always what people hear. Okay. So, the same voice says, take a deep breath and smile. Relax your face. Wiggle your fingers and stop. Say the word orange.
Orange.
Good. Say the word soft.
Soft.
With your eyes closed, look to the right. Good. With your eyes closed, look to the left. And now look down. With your eyes closed, look upward as if gently looking toward the center of the forehead. And with your eyes closed, just imagine you've taped your eyes together, sealed together and locked down, and sealed so tightly and so securely. They will not open even if you try. Make that true. When you've made it true, just for an instant, prove it to yourself. Test it. Stop testing. Good. Now just go even deeper. Just focus even more enjoyably. And the deeper you go, the better you feel. The better you feel, the deeper you go. Good. And just keep going deeper. Letting go of more and more. Feeling better and better. Focusing more and more enjoyably. And as you continue to go deeper, just remember this feeling. This is your feeling. You've created it, you've owned it, you control it now. So memorize every part of this feeling. Feels good, doesn't it? Good. And once you've memorized this feeling totally, inside and out, every part of it, just nod your head. In a moment, I'll have you open your eyes all the way back, and I'll ask you to go right back into this feeling because you've memorized it. You know what it is. Good. Take a deep breath. What was that like?
Really nice.
Yeah.
Centered.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine this very same voice that you hear telling you to go right back there now. Maybe there, nod your head. Notice you can go even further. So go ahead and close your eyes. Go right back into that feeling. Good, just like that, even more centered. center, center. We're going to do this just a couple of more times. And just imagine yourself exactly what you do. You go to sleep at night. Just enjoy this wonderful experience. Calm. All the world fall away. In fact, imagine the very same voice telling you that all the world fall away. Good. Not now, but in a moment, I'll have you open your eyes. I want you to go right back into it when I tell you. So take a deep breath, inhale, come all the way back. Feel pretty good? A little bit better? It gets better every time you do it, so I'm going to do it just a couple more times. Now imagine.
To let the world fall away.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want you to imagine doing this to get to sleep at night. So, but this is what you'll be doing when you get to sleep at night. So, focus on the voice. It tells you to take a deep breath and close your eyes. Go right back in. Good. Every time you do this, it gets easier, you go deeper, it feels better. Let the world fall away. And you just feel it fall away. Totally at peace, totally centered. Just there with yourself, so comfortable. Good. Starting now and from this time forward, to sleep, you'll use this. Agree with me, yes? All right. When you're ready, knowing that you can do this anytime, take a deep breath. Put your eyes open. How do you feel?
Really good. I like it. Did this really work?
Okay, now I'm going to give you, it can work, absolutely. My instruction when I teach someone this is, you obviously have a time you can do it. You can do it at night. You can go to sleep, or when you need to go to sleep. Do it any time it's safe to do it, and when you feel like doing it. The reason why is when you get good at doing it when you don't need it, when you do need it, it's really easy. Okay?
You've been ingrained in more in
Exactly.
the subconscious.
So, you park the car, you turn off the key, you get in the car before you turn on,
So you're de-stressing all day long.
yeah, you go to the bathroom, you're standing in line at the supermarket.
That's when I do my balance exercises.
Yeah. All right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'd
thank
love to
you.
hear how that works for you. Okay, very
Thank
good.
you.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. So now I gave this demonstration, it was very specific to what you had needed. So, but the important point that I want you to break up and do with other people is the steps are, have them recall the voice, then have them hear the voice, instruct them to close their eyes. Everything that you say to the person you're working with, the person that's participating needs to hear it in this voice that's being said. Once they're there with their eyes closed, give them some very simple instructions. You know, tap your toes or tap your toes. Whatever they think that means. Raise the right hand, lower the right hand, take a deep breath. Just very simple instructions. You don't have to get too complicated. You can stay in the chair and have them do it. And just do it until you, as the person who's giving the instructions, senses they are really comfortable following this inner voice. May take 5 minutes. Give you a couple minutes to do it each, and then we'll switch. Okay? All right.
Can you repeat that one more time? I was kind of trying to take notes, but.
Sure. Okay.
So.
You're going to partner up.
each of the, yeah, and then,
Okay.
go ahead, yeah.
There's going to be the instructor who's going to instruct the, let's call it the learner, to imagine the voice, hear it in their head. The instructor is going to then say, imagine this very same voice telling you to take a deep breath, close your eyes. Imagine the very same voice, and then you give very simple instructions of behaviors that they can do. Nod their head, turn their head to the right, turn their left, lift their right foot, lower their right foot. They don't have to raise from the chair, but have them hear the voice give the instructions. This is so, as the learner, you get very familiar with this voice that's now with you, telling you the right thing to do. Okay? So when you feel like you need to be motivated, you just sort of listen to this voice tell you, go for it. And you move right into it. All right? Okay, so let's partner up. Let's see, we've got 5 people, so I'll be happy to work with somebody.
You guys want,
Okay.
you want to do it again, or?
Yeah, I'll do it with anybody.
Okay.
Steph, why don't you and I work?
Okay.
Okay, now, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Oh, good.
that did work nice.
Yeah.
All right, how was that?
Amazing.
Really? Tell me about the amazing part. I love superlatives like that. Superlatives, not expletives.
Just, I can really, like I've done visualization before with different things, but with the voice, it just seems to
Right.
just give it more power behind it. I can actually feel, like I can visualize, but when I can actually feel myself doing things, it
Yes.
just seems like it
That's,
impacts it
I'm
more.
glad you mentioned that, because I want to talk a little bit about affirmations. This is, again, another tool you can use to help make change. Many of us work with visualization to make change. We also work with affirmations. Each of those can have very strong effect, but sometimes when you combine them, they have a multiple effect. Affirmations are really good under the right conditions. The condition is you have to have the associated feeling of it. You can't just say it. You know, I am confident, I am strong, I'm a better person. You can't just say it. You
Especially
have
like
to-
that.
Yeah, not like that. You have to bring the voice into it. You say it like you mean it, and you have to also bring in the physiology of it. On top of that, the image in your mind has to change. So there's in neurolinguistic programming, they always talk about visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Combine those three. The affirmation is simply the auditory part of it. But if you visualize it as true, as you bring the feeling of it as true, it has a really strong impact on it.
I quit smoking that way.
Excellent.
Took
Very
a
good.
year, but
Oh, yeah.
I did affirmations and visualization.
What did you say? What did you say to yourself?
I am a non-smoker, and I pictured myself in the car with my ashtray open. I'd always
Yeah,
lit up
yeah.
when I got in the car, and my
Right.
purse was open, and everything was empty, no cigarettes.
I love, when I'm working with somebody, hypnosis, those are the words, the exact words I use. I'm a non-smoker.
And I went for hypnosis first, and it didn't work for me
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah. Well, good, very good. And I try and first of all give them having a really positive, incredible feeling, because they're in hypnosis, so they can feel this really positive feeling.
Yeah, I didn't get the feeling part, so maybe that's why it took a whole year.
Yeah.
But it did fall away all on its own.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Once they get the feeling, I have them start reciting the words with the feeling.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're linking these really great feelings to the words, I'm a non-smoker. And then when we're done, I have them say the words, and they feel really good. And so I give a simple instruction, which is say that a lot. And feel the feeling. The
And
devious thing about it is, well, first of all, I want people to feel good, so I've linked really positive feelings to the words, I'm a non-smoker. The devious thing is when you start to say that a lot, you give yourself some sort of standard to live up to. you create a model in your mind that it's hard to go back on. But it feels good, so it's being very supportive. Okay, yes?
This is a little bit off the topic of that, but it was a thought that I had, that is this why, say you're trying to lose weight, so you get a picture of yourself thinner, or you find a body and put your head on it that's approximately the weight you want to be, and you stick it on your mirror. Because are you really fooling yourself into thinking that's your reflection, and so your physiology matches what it sees on the mirror?
It can work like that. I mean, there are lots of details that sort of have to be addressed, which is you have to feel what you're seeing
Yeah.
is who you are on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
You have to also feel a sense of certainty, of confidence that it's just a matter of time it's going to happen,
Yeah.
and there are details that you're going to do having to do with obviously physical activity and consuming food. But they're going to happen, and they're going to be easy. So,
Well, that's what I mean, though. I
Because
mean,
there's
you
a-
see that picture, and you
Mhm.
just start automatically doing the things that will bring you to match the picture.
yes,
Because typically, and, you walk into your bathroom and you see yourself from like here up.
right,
You don't see your whole body, but you've got this
Right.
whole body picture
right.
on your mirror, and so you're seeing your
Mhm.
whole body at this way that you
Right.
want to be.
Well, I mean, if you just do the mechanics of putting your face on an image, there may be a very conscious, not subconscious, but conscious response of BS. That is sometimes what happens when we start off affirmations.
Uh-huh.
We'll say this, and our conscious mind says, "Ah!" Okay?
No.
So you have to bring in the feelings, you have to
Yeah.
bring in the voice of it, you have to bring in the
Do
images.
you think that's a thing that happens over time?
Yeah, yeah. There's
Okay,
that-
so, like I said, if you've got this image over time, you're going to think, well, yeah, that really is me.
Right. Definitely can work.
Okay.
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 Curious.
So this is of use. I want you to be able to use this voice. Eric mentioned something that this is something I use all the time in hypnosis. I do it for a very specific reason, and it's a very devious reason, which is if I do this enough times, my voice becomes their voice of authority. So now as I'm instructing them in hypnosis, they're responding to my voice as if it were that voice they have in their head. Okay, so yeah, it's a little devious, but it works great, all for the benefit of the client. I don't tell them to do anything that they wouldn't want to do otherwise. And I was going to say, this is also something that if you have someone that you want to encourage, just as I described it to you, you could describe it to them. And if you present it as a game, it becomes very fun. It becomes like Simon Says.
Yeah.
All right? Okay. Questions about this? And we'll move on to something else. Okay. Let's just take a 5-minute break. I was actually expecting people to get drinks and go to the bathroom, but this is okay too.
We're just too comfortable.
I
All
got
right,
my
all right.
water right
See,
here.
you got us so relaxed.
Yes. Yes. All right. So I want to give another tool that I'll describe it to you. I'll demonstrate it, and I'll have you go through it again with each other. I learned this from a friend who was a hypnotist, and he did it in a seminar, and I was impressed by it. It worked really well, and like many things that happen in seminars, I just forgot all about it. And one time, it is a way of taking events that have this emotional impact to them and just reframing them. So you can think about it, and instead of being traumatized every time you think about it, what you realize is, there was something really valuable in this. You get the lesson that you learned from it. Because from every event, even the most difficult ones, there is something of value you can learn. That's the premise of this whole exercise. So I'll describe it to you. And feel free to go through this with me. as you do it. I will ask you to close your eyes and move your hands and do everything that we do here, but I want you to first think of an event, nothing that is too traumatic, but an event that has some sort of uncomfortable emotional impact to it. So it could be a time you were embarrassed. It could be a time where you felt like you said the wrong thing. Just something that has a small negative emotional impact to it. Okay, when you've got that in your mind, nod your head so that we can continue. All right, everyone's nodding. Good. So first of all, now put yourself in that event. See what you would see, hear what you heard, feel what you felt. Put yourself right there in the event. When you're there, nod your head. Good. Now, step outside your body. So you're at eye level, maybe 13, 14 feet away. You're seeing the event take place as a third person. When you've done that, nod your head. All right? With your hands, draw a frame around that picture. You can either outline it with your fingers, or you can snap it on from four sides, however you want to do it. Good. So you will actually have to move your hands. Now within that frame, I want you to take your hand and imagine you can wipe that picture and whitewash it entirely. So just whitewash it on complete white canvas. Excellent. From that experience, you had learned something. Think about what it is you learned that's of value from that experience. And with your index finger, write that lesson on that canvas. And when you finish, just read it, acknowledge it, notice the value of that lesson. It could be very profound, it could be something very simple, but it was something still of very much value. Good. Now, with that picture and the lesson written on it, grab it from the wall in front of you, put it in both hands. On the count of 3, toss it behind you, far back in the subconscious mind. 1, 2, 3, far away. Boom. Now, take a deep breath. Think about that event. Open your eyes. Tell me what you notice now when you think about that event or that memory. How do you feel when you remember it now?
I got some positive calls and got a little more.
Yeah.
Less about like the uneasiness I felt with the
Yeah, the emotional content isn't there. But the lesson is like, whoa. You know, these could be really, like I said, it could be very profound statements like, I need to love myself more. Or they could be very simple statements like, don't date that person. You know, but they're really valuable. Okay? The reason this works is because the subconscious mind works on a multitude of levels that are visual, that are kinesthetic, that are visceral, and when you do this exercise in this way, and it has a very strong impact. Now, when I learned this, the instruction that my friend gave me was, the subconscious mind makes very quick transformations. It can make very positive changes like this in only 21 attempts. That's not 21 days, that's not 21 hours, that's 21 attempts. So what he recommended was, every day, if something comes up, if you've done this with one event already, you don't ever have to do it again. But if something comes up, a memory that you need to work with, just do this exercise with it. And so I sort of filed that back in my mind and forgot it. And then this was quite a few years ago, so I was surfing the internet and I found this website that had nothing but crime scene photos and, and terrible things on it. And you know, like the caption on each one of these, the next picture is even worse. And I would go, no! Click. Oh! I just keep solving my mind, you know? I just keep bombarding my mind with these pictures. Oh yeah, that is worse. But the next one can't be worse. And it would... So, I was trying to sleep that night. And these images kept coming back, and I was like oh, what the heck? And I thought, okay, I remember this exercise. And so, I was laying there in bed, closed my eyes. I saw myself from a distance looking at this computer monitor, polluting my mind. You know, I drew a frame around it, I whitewashed it. With my finger, I wrote, "Be careful what you put in your mind." And when I grabbed the frame and I tossed it away, and it's like I could feel this pull, like someone just pulled the plug on the drain. I was being like just sucked down into sleep. I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is a lesson I can learn, and I just like sort of faded off into sleep. Okay, so that had a very strong impact on me. I decided after that I was going to take this a little bit seriously, do an experiment, and I was going to attempt to do this 3 times a day. And again, if an event had come up, a memory came up that that I have already dealt with, I don't have to deal with it anymore. So each time I would do it, I would try and find a new event, a new memory that had some sort of emotional impact. And I figured after a week that would be 21 times. So I'd start on a Monday, I'd end on a Sunday. And so I just started to do this, and all of a sudden by Wednesday, I couldn't think of anything to work with. I just had no thoughts in my mind of anything. And what had happened is, I did it enough times with enough seriousness that my subconscious mind said, oh, I get it. And it just started to generalize it through every one of those memories. Okay? And that's what the subconscious mind does. If you do something enough, with enough impact, and it will start to generalize things. You know, it's like when you stop smoking, and all of a sudden you notice all those hands hanging out the window with cigarettes. You just start seeing that everywhere. Like, I'm glad I'm not one of those, you know. All right? So, questions about this?
What, you said do it on something small, but what if you have something big? Just do it more times?
No. What would happen is you do it first with the small ones. Get familiar with the process with these small, non-traumatic events. Once you get some experience doing it with small ones, then you can go to the big ones. So I would wait, you know, at least a couple days or a week before I start dealing with, you know, childhood traumas and things like that. But get familiar with the small things, the little embarrassments, the times you forgot something or you said something stupid, things like that, those sorts of things. Okay? Okay, so what I want you to do is to get familiar with this. Once again, I want you to break up and work with somebody, guide them through the experience, then have them guide you through it. Questions? I'm going to go through it once again. Remember the event, put yourself in it. Step out of the event. So you see yourself, third person. Draw a frame around that picture. Next, whitewash the picture. Next, write what you learned from that experience, the lesson you learned. And the last thing is, take the picture, toss it behind you. And when you feel it crashing in the furthest depths of your subconscious mind, open your eyes, notice what you feel about the event. Okay? All right. So let's split.
Sure.
And I'm going to encourage you to work with someone different.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's always nice to work with someone familiar, but it's good to work with someone different.
And sorry, Dan, I hit you
What was
with
the
my
last thing
picture
you said,
frame.
open eyes?
I threw it back and then
Just
I
to have
remembered
your eyes,
that I threw it
notice how
again
you
with
see the
the
main things I wanted to sort of share with you that are useful. One of the reasons that this particular process works is in how it separates us from the emotional content. And this is, again, something you can do on your own. All sorts of change work, hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming, has a very basic function to it, is once you recognize what the problem is, and this is why people come and they can't get out of their problems, because they're always thinking about their problems. But the secret behind the change work is you guide them to separate themselves from the problem so they can look at it objectively without feeling it. In that state, you can think of the solution. In this case, we talk about the answer, or the
lesson.
The lesson, thank you. And also, I talked a little bit about a process that you can use to dissociate from pain. It does the very same sort of thing. A way of separating yourself from the emotional discomfort, or in this case, we talked about the physical discomfort, and be able to see things differently. If you're at all interested in this, it's the basis of what's called the meta pattern. It's just invented by John Oberdorf, or discovered or described by John Oberdorf. And if you go to Amazon, just write in the search for NLP meta pattern. It is a little abstract, but they give enough examples and descriptions of how it works that you are able to understand it. Okay, that's pretty much it. Any questions that we can give here?
Thank you.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
as I try to remind everybody, I want to do this on a weekly basis. Dan and Eric are usually here even when I'm not, but I'm always trying to contribute here in some way or another. At this time, Sunday, 1 o'clock, if you have friends, bring them. This is free. I do ask that if you want to help me pay for my gas all the way from Ontario, go ahead and throw a couple bucks in there. That would always help. But I do this because I want a community of people who are really cool. And I do at some point, I also want to teach hypnosis training. That's sort of a goal here. So you are going to be my foundation for that if we continue with that. Because you're here, you're not somewhere else, I want to thank you for that sacrifice. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
All right.
So I have a question.